Assalamualaikum. Today I will be presenting two main points, which are defection trends and South Korean policy on defector, focusing on how this reality reflects the broader political and humanitarian dynamic between North and South Korean. First, we go to the defection trend. Let's begin with the annual trends of North Korean defector entering South Korean. According to the South Korean Ministry of Unification, over 33,000 North Korean defectors have entered the South Korean since the 19th. The number peaked in 2009 with over 2,900 defectors. However, this trend has significantly declined in recent years. For example, we can see from the graph, in 2019, before the pandemic, there are 1,047 defectors arrived in the South Korean, but in 2021, during the COVID-19, the number dropped sharply to only 63 people. This sharp decline is mainly due to the tighter borders control, especially along the China and North Korean border, which became almost completely sealed during the pandemic. Okay, now, how do these defectors escape from the North Korean? Okay, most North Koreans do not escape directly to South Korean due to the heavily militarized DMZ. Instead, the common route is through China, then traveling covertly through Southeast Asia, especially through Laos or Thailand before finally seeking asylum in the South Korean. A documentary by Asian Boss interviewed a real defector who explained the danger of this route, including the risk of being caught by the Chinese authority and repatriate, which often lead to torture or imprisonment. So, despite the risk, many still choose to flee, showing the desperation and harsh conditions they face in the North Korean. Moving on to the second point is South Korean policy on defector. Now let's look at how South Koreans support this defector. So the Ministry of Unification of South Korea runs a major resettlement program called Hanawan. Hanawan program provides a 3-month education program that covering topics like South Korean law, modern technology, and even daily life skills like using an ATM. After that, defectors receive a financial aid including resettlement money, housing support, and assistance finding job. However, despite this effort, many defectors face serious challenge, in which, based on a paper that written by the Institute for Korean Study, they are facing 4 challenges, which are the discrimination. Discrimination is common happen or faced by the defector that because of mistrusted or stereotyped by South Korean. Second is because of the unemployment are also issue, which many defectors struggle to find stable job due to the different educational background or dialect. And lastly, cultural adjustment is a major hurdle because even though the two Koreans share a same language, decades of division have led to a difference in the value, behavior, and even simple things like a dialect or accent, which can make defectors feel like outsider. In summary, while South Korea has developed comprehensive policy to support this defector, the emotional, social, and economic challenge remain deep, and with the border restrictions still tight the post-COVID, fewer North Koreans are able to escape, leaving many trapped in a difficult reality.
Assalamualaikum, and moving on to the next point, which is how the North Korean defectors are portrayed in South Korea political narrative and also the Security Council tied to their movement. So part 1 is political narrative. In South Korea, the way defectors are treated and talked about is deeply shaped by politics, especially the ideological divide between liberals and also conservative. Let's start with the conservative. For them, defectors are often portrayed as proof of North Korea's failures, which is political refugee escaping dictatorship. Conservative politicians and media outlets like Chosun Ilbo or Channel A frequently highlight stories of starvation, surveillance, and public execution in North Korea. These stories are used not just for empathy, but to justify stronger defense policies against the North and oppose their engagement and push for sanction. You might remember the case of Ji Seong-ho, the defector who lost his leg trying to escape and later waved his crutches at the 2018 State of the Union in the US. Like for conservative in South Korea, his story became a powerful symbol, not just of personal courage, but of ideological victory over communism. On the other hand, the liberal politicians tend to focus on humanitarian concern and they support soft policies like dialogue with the North and view defector more as a step toward a reunification. But sometimes this approach has been criticized for sidelining defector real struggle in the South, like discrimination against them or their poverty, because the focus shift to diplomacy rather than day-to-day integration. So part 2 is about security concern. When it comes to North Korean defectors, South Korea face tough security concern, especially around redefection and public trust. One major case happened in 2020 when a defector swam back to North Korea after struggling with poverty and social isolation in the south. Cases like this raise difficult question. On one hand, the government must protect national security, but that's why every defector undergoes a strict 3 months investigation before resettlement. But on the other hand, this security first approach can make even genuine defector feel watched or distrusted. Some NGO warn that this discourage open communication, especially for those struggling to adapt. That silence can lead to mental health issues, withdrawal, or even thought of returning to the regime that they risk everything to escape. The challenge is finding a balance, ensuring safety without turning defector into suspect. Because at the end of the day, there are not just cases to manage, there are people trying to rebuild their life. Thank you.
One of the most powerful aspects in the North Korea defector issues is the personal stories. Defectors like Yeonmi Park, Jae Sung-ho have shared emotional testimonies about life under a brutal regime, facing hunger, torture, and complete control by the state. These stories are not just shocking, they serve a purpose. They help raise global awareness about human rights violations and they pressure governments to take actions. Many defectors become activists, using their voices to call for change, not just in Korea but worldwide. However, these voices also create tensions in international relations. Every successful defection is seen by North Korea as a political threat. It's weakened their image and strained relations with South Korea. Countries like China refuse to recognize defectors as refugees and often send them back, which violates international law and sparks global criticisms. Meanwhile, North Korea responds with propaganda, calling defectors liars and traitors to discourage others from leaving. So, what does this all mean? The issue of North Korea defector is more than just people escaping country. It's a complex mix of human rights, national security, and diplomacy. While their voices inspire hope and demand justice, they also challenge the region to choose between political convenience and moral responsibility. In short, defectors are not just survivors, they are symbols of pain, of truth, and of the ongoing struggle for freedom in East Asia.